I am a pseudo Malayalee. At least, that's what a random guy from Kerala called my friend and I. Unsolicitedly, may I add. I'll come to that. But first, let me enlighten you a little about my background.
My parents migrated to Delhi from Kerala when they were teenagers in search of work. In 1988, they got married, and then my brother and I were born. Cute.
Now, living in Delhi with all the challenges that Malayalis face in a Hindi speaking region of India, my parents were one of those who made the decision that we would primarily speak in Hindi and English, and that too without an MPI. The reason behind this was Nair. They knew about the discrimination that we will face either way, being from South India, and the color of our skin. So they thought, let the children at least not be bullied for not speaking Hindi properly. They also didn't want us to feel like we couldn't connect with all the kids around us because of a language barrier. They definitely wanted to make sure that the North Indian adults around us who took care of us when parents were not around understood us perfectly. Another reason is that they did not want to overwhelm us by speaking multiple languages at home. Here's where they had it wrong. And that's why, based on our personal experience, we've all become advocates for young children learning multiple languages.
I could always understand Malayalam thanks to Malayalam movies. Then, around 6th or 7th, I unwillingly started learning how to read and write Malayalam because my parents finally understood the gravity of their mistake.
I didn't understand the importance back then, but boy, am I thankful for those classes.
Now, I'll be honest, due to lack of practice, it does take me a minute to form sentences in my head and read headlines on the newspaper.
My accent gives people in Kerala and parents in Delhi the giggles. But I try. As a child, I did not understand why I was being bullied for being a South Indian. Why the color of my skin was a reason to make fun of me. Why my well-oiled, thick, curly hair was ugly to people. And why the North Indian kids around me felt like they had the right to say the nastiest things that they had heard at home or maybe from people around them. Truth be told, these people made me hate the fact that I was from Kerala. I would in fact go to my parents and tell them I hated being a Malu and that we were not from Delhi. I would tell people that I met that I don't consider myself a Malu, that I'm fully a Delhiite. I'm sure it was heartbreaking for my parents, just as it is for me looking back. Thankfully, by the time I reached 10th standard, if I remember correctly, I was starting to embrace my roots. Now more than ever, I feel a connection towards my roots, and I'm always trying to learn more about it and educating people around me about it. You will find me lecturing people on their sheer ignorance towards Kerala and its people, their sheer lack of knowledge when it came to basic geography, and on top of that, disregarding the existence of our community by merging the whole of South India under one word. And we all know what that is. Madras, being deemed as an outsider in the very place that I was born in, and not being fully able to connect with people in Kerala left me feeling like I do not belong anywhere. Good thing my life doesn't depend on it anymore.
Coming back to the point, this video is not about the racism I faced. I can write a book on that. This is about that guy who called me and my friend a pseudo Malayalee. And many like him who lack empathy and judge Malayalis who live outside of Kerala solely based on their past experience. I'm saying this because my friend and I had awkwardly said hi to this guy, being first introduced by our North Indian friend, who assumed that all three of us would hit it off. We laughed at the bizarre scenario and went our ways, while this friend of ours looked very confused.
That guy was not an ideal representative of the Malayali community that day, to say the least. And he was also the exception.
This is an old story. Since then, I've mingled with Malayalis in and out of Kerala. We always recognize other Malayalis when we're out of Kerala. No matter where we go, it's a sort of relief. We are always ready to help each other out because we will know what it's like to not have your community around you. Someone who understands the nuances of being a Malu. At least that's been my experience. If you are a Malayali living in Kerala and you hold the same inhibitions as the guy we encountered, I urge you to find more compassion and empathy for Malayalis living out of Kerala who may or may not speak Malayalam. We need each other, and that's the only way we can thrive as a community. Just something to think about. The title of this video was definitely clickbait. I I do not think of myself as a pseudo Malayali. My roots are a huge part of what I've become as a person. I'm proud to be a Mallu, and that should be enough. I do wish we didn't tear each other down simply based on how we speak, dress, and choose to live, because sometimes it's just us against the world. To anyone who's ever felt or experienced something similar, just know that you belong.
But first,